Hello everyone. Hello everyone. Gosh, I've been I've been preparing my lectures. I have been preparing course note for this because this is a very important coaching session. You know, I like African women and I always, I wish us well. So whenever I have any valuable information, I try to share. Yeah, don't mention. So let's get going. Let's get going. Okay, so I have over 100 people already. So I'm going to start in if maybe in a few seconds. So just give me a moment. Okay, so we're going to start. First of all, I want to say this. Um, I'm streaming both on my main profile and on my Facebook page, the business page. So my face might be turning every now and then. So bear with me. I'm just streaming on my through my phone and through my desktop. So first of all, let's crack on. I want to say that this video is, I'm not trying to convert any woman into what I believe. If you don't believe in cheating back, if you believe in exploring other options like praying or walking away or doing whatever, that's fine. I am not trying to convert you. I have zero interest in converting you because quite frankly, I don't really care that much to start making efforts to convert you. So this video is actually for women who believe in cheating back. If you believe in cheating back and you want to know how to do it the right way, then this video is for you. I'm going to teach you how to take the necessary precautions, especially as it regards women living in Nigeria. So if you don't believe in cheating back, you can just leave the video now. So first of all, what is cheat back? Cheat back is a situation where you are cheating back on a partner who has cheated on you. So give me a moment. Yeah, you're cheating back on a partner who has cheated on you. That's what it means to cheat back. You don't just it's not you being the first person to cheat. It is you retaliating the cheating from a cheating partner. The partner could be a spouse, married spouse, or another spouse in a committed relationship. So that's what I mean by cheating back. So that's what it means. So I want to start analyzing this whole thing from the African perspective. I think patriarchy makes a lot of men live in some kind of delusion that tells them that they are entitled to cheat, but the person they are cheating on has to be faithful to them. I have over the years I have thought about these delusions. Common sense, the basic thing, I would say the basic thing is that you should be able to take whatever you give. And that's my own principle. Whatever I give, I'm able to take. That is just my principle. But I don't know why the average African, the average Nigerian man actually thinks he is entitled to cheat on the spouse, and the spouse has to remain faithful. Like, I don't think a cheat should expect fidelity from a spouse. I don't think a cheat should expect fidelity from the spouse. And yes, just like Omotoyosi said, the ones that don't cheat among the African men, they think they are doing their wives a favor. Is your wife also doing you a favor? Like, seriously, what makes these men think that they are entitled to cheat? And let me clear something before I go into, I will, I want to clear something quickly. I have always written about my opinion on polygamy. I wouldn't subscribe to it as a person, but this is where I have a problem with polygamy. If you want to be polygamous and you meet a person, before you get serious, tell the person, I'm not going to stick with only you. And the person will make an informed decision if they are going to tolerate a man with side chicks or a man who is eventually going to marry other women. The person will make the informed decision. But you do not swear an oath or take a vow of fidelity to be in a monogamous marriage with someone, and down the line you tell them, oh, you're going to have side chicks, or you're going to marry somebody else. Why do you people live in that delusion? Why do you think, why do people, a lot of African men, why do you live in that delusion that you are entitled to cheat and they have to remain faithful to you? I don't get it. I have thought about it. I do not get it. Let me tell you something about, there's this famous quote, we've all heard it. Men are polygamous in nature. That is just a single story, because you know why? We are all polygamous in nature. It is difficult for even women, for anybody, man or woman, to stick with one person for the rest of their lives. It is very difficult. Because when you get married, either to your wife or your husband, you're going to see people richer, apart from the richest man on earth. You're going to see a man who is richer than the man. You're going to see people who are more good looking than your husband or your wife. You're going to see people more intelligent than your husband or your wife. You're going to see people more educated than your spouse. But the fact is, that is where commitment, love, and respect come to play. When you have chosen one person, you know that you're going to find more beautiful women, more handsome and richer men. But you have decided within you that I will forsake all others. No matter how beautiful, handsome, rich, educated they are, even more than my own spouse, I'm going to stick to my spouse. And that, you people, a lot of Nigerians, you go to the church, you take vows. You take vows and you decide, you take vows for richer, for poorer, forsaking all of that. But those things you say, you don't even mean them. You don't mean them. You don't mean them. If you have decided, if you have promised someone to be in a monogamous relationship with them, you have the moral obligation to stick with your words and remain monogamous in that relationship. But the idea that you think you can go around and cheat is bad enough, but the idea that you think that the person you're cheating on is going to remain faithful and committed to you, that is nonsense. That is nonsense. That is you thinking too much. Like, you think to, who the hell do you think you are? Who the hell do you think you are, that you think because you are a man you are entitled to fuck around, and those women you're shitting around with, they are supposed to be faithful to you because who are you? Do you have 10 heads? You're just one person. You're just one human being, just like every other child, any other human. You're just one person. There's no big deal about you. If you want someone to be faithful to you, be faithful to the person. That is the basic human decency. That is what that is a basic thing. And if you're not faithful to your spouse, then I don't think you have the moral justification. You have the right to be offended. You do not. If you do not have the right to be offended, if that spouse actually gets to cheat on you too. Because I mean, they're just doing it. I can't say this enough. If you are in an exclusive monogamous relationship, you need to stay faithful. Stop living in that delusion that you deserve more while your spouse needs to be faithful to you. So, having said that, I'm going to address women now because it looks like I've been talking to men, but this is actually a kind of service for women. For me, I don't think a cheating spouse has any right to expect the um the spouse to be faithful to him or her. I don't think you and for a woman you have no business, even for those of you who do not believe you need to cheat back, you know you have no business staying married and faithful to someone who is already cheating on you. Now let me tell you something. There are a whole lot of dangers to cheating. A whole lot of dangers. I don't want to make this live video so long, but there is a lot of dangers, to cheating. This is apart from the issue of DNA fraud. You know, when it's the woman who gets to cheat. Have you seen a situation where a man died? Think everyone thought he had 4 children, and all of a sudden, you realize the man had 10 children. People from left, right, and center. And what do? They come to start dragging assets with the wife and the children. And in some cases, it is possible that the wife has contributed a lot. And so people who did not even work for it, the children of other women who did not contribute, will come and start dragging assets with your children. That is just one of the dangers. I mean, when you cheat, you're shortchanging your partner, and it is a very, very unfair thing to do. So, I want to also clear, when you, especially for Nigerians, we are very religious, we are very religious. They will tell you when you go to church, I don't believe in church counseling, because the only thing they have to tell you is man is the head and woman be submissive. Like, I'm sick and tired of hearing all those things. They don't get practical, they don't get realistic, and they have this extreme difficulty calling men out on their bullshit. So when you go to your churches for the religious one, all they're going to tell you is, oh, you have to pray. I want to tell you now, sisters, prayers does not stop cheating partners. Prayers is not going to stop your husband from cheating on you. You're going to pray. Yeah, and I don't even understand how a man will be having orgasm, cheating on me with someone, and I'm supposed to be fasting and praying for him. How do you women do that? Like, your husband is cheating on you, and you are fasting and praying for the person who is cheating on you while he's having orgasm on top of another woman. How do you people manage this? How do you people manage this? Like, have you even finished praying for yourself? Why should you be praying for a man who is cheating on you? Religion has done a lot of damage to the psychology of women, as African women, Nigerian women. It has done a lot of damage. Between religion, Nollywood, and culture and tradition, I don't know the one that is worse when it comes to destroying the psychology of African women, really. Because tradition will tell you, oh, this a woman is a man's property. The man can go and do whatever he likes in the marriage. The woman has to stay and serve the man. Religion will come and reinforce it. Then Nollywood will write stupid scripts. Nollywood will write stupid scripts to reinforce the damage that the toxic doctrines from the religion, and the toxic religion doctrines and the toxic traditions. Nollywood will come and reinforce the whole thing into movies, and they will be feeding us this whole nonsense. And women get to watch this over and over again, and it gets stuck in their heads. It's just, So let's get to cheating back. I do not hide the fact. I am proudly a vengeful person. I am a strong believer in paying people on with their own coin. You know, I don't believe in turning the other cheek when someone slaps you. I believe in returning two slaps. If you slap me one, I return two. You know, that is my belief. It's never going to change. The issue of making people docile, it doesn't work. You know, it doesn't work. It's either you we are in a very cruel world. The world is cruel. The world is not gentle. It's either you triumph, or some people will just triumph over you. That is the way it works. And I've made up my mind that nobody will use me shine. As you're landing that slap, as soon as I have the opportunity to get my hands to your face, you're receiving two. And that is the reason why I believe in cheat back. When I was dating, I used to tell every man I meet, you know, just in form of discussion, I'm going to stay faithful, which is the truth. You don't have to believe it. It's the truth. If I'm married to you for 100 years and we are alive for 100 years, I'll be faithful. But boy, oh boy, the day you cheat on me, make sure I don't catch you. If I catch you, I used to say I would divorce. I changed my mind. That is the easy way out. I will cheat back, and I'm not going to hide it from you. I have worked a lot. Yes, I'm privileged in a way, but I also put in a lot of hard work preparing myself in such a way that nobody is going to walk on my head. Nobody will walk match my head. No. If you want match my head, I'll push you down and match your own head. Nobody will match my head. Like the world is actually a very cruel place, and I don't believe in being gentle with when you're offended. I don't believe in that. I believe in fighting back. And if you think it's not safe to fight back, well, we live to fight another day. Go and prepare and come back and fight. So I am a strong believer in cheating back. I'm a strong believer in paying people according to their own coins. Now the hand where you bring, mine I go take follow you. And so if you don't want me to slap you, don't slap me, because I can tell you something for a fact. I'm never going to be the first person to slap you. But I can assure you one thing: if you slap me, I will slap you back the moment I have the opportunity. It could take 2 days, it could take 10 years, it could take 20 years. I don't forgive and I don't forget. So, cheating back. How do you cheat back? Because when it comes to cheating back, for the past few days, I've been writing, I've always written about cheating back over the years, but for the past few days, I've also been writing about cheating back. And immediately I write it, you have some alpha males coming into my, comment section to say, oh, be prepared to be kicked back to the streets. First of all, I think these men have a lot of women in their lives who are actually on the streets. There are some of us that we're never on the streets. We came from our father's house, which is very beautiful, to our own houses before we got married. There is not going to be a kicking out, in the event of, if it comes to that. There's going to be sharing of properties 50-50. And if there's going to be a kick out, I'm the one that will do the kicking out. Not me, not anybody. I will be the one to do the kick out if there will. So, that threat is reserved for a certain class of women. And when you threaten women with, oh, I'm going to kick you out back to the streets, it is because your sisters belong to the streets. So you think every woman belongs to the streets. We have women, I have a lot of my Facebook friends that are doing well. Female, girls, they are doing well. Some of them have their houses, they have their properties. Some of them bought their properties. They are single, they already bought their properties. Some of them are married, they bought properties before they got married. And you are threatening to kick them back to the streets. It is you and your papa that will go back to the streets. Yes, it is you, because you people, there are some people you can give that threat to. The thing is, sometimes I look at all these boys and be like, I will kick you back to the street. These are guys that cannot pay rent. They are still squatting with their mothers. They can't pay rent. And you look at a girl, a full-grown adult, who probably can buy you and your family and feed you for like 2 years, and it don't even shake her bank account. You're looking at her and saying you throw her back to the street. You're the one who belongs to the street. You can't feed yourself. You can't even accommodate yourself. You live with your mother. You are squatting with your mother or your elder sister and her husband, and you are in Facebook running your mouth. For you to start telling women that you will kick them back to the streets, it says a lot about the family you're from. You're from a family where the women have nothing to their names. They are in the streets and they depend, their whole entirety of their whole existence is on their men, on their husbands. And so you can threaten those ones with, oh, you can kick them back to the street. Because you come from a family with such women doesn't mean you have to generalize. You don't. I have built my life in such a way that, yes, I understand that we all need people, but I built my life to a level where um, anyone who lives my life, there are very few people who are indispensable to me. Let me say my mom and my children. You know, any other person who lives my life might shake me seriously, but I will survive eventually. I have built my life to that stage because I don't want to put a lot of hope on humans. Humans can fail you. And so I do not ever want to be so vulnerable. I don't want to be too much at somebody else's messes. As much as it is within my power to prevent it, I'm going to keep preventing it. So, um, let's talk about cheating back. Cheating, there are some precautions you need to take as a woman if you want to cheat back, because the world, the Nigeria, is patriarchal. So let me talk about women in certain countries. In most societies, their laws are close or gender equal. In Canada, for instance, they never born you well. Now, you cannot wake up and say you want to kick your wife out. First of all, wherever you live, that house, it doesn't matter whether it was fully bought by the man or fully bought by the woman. Your matrimonial home belongs to the man and the woman 50-50. So you cannot wake up and kick out. There is this thing a lot of Nigerian men say that annoy the hell out of me. They will say, if I cheat on you and you cannot cope, you get out. If you cheat on me, you get out. These men will boldly tell you that whether they are the ones cheating or you are the one cheating, you are going to get out. And it is not supposed to be so. Because in the actual sense, it is the person who is committing the offense. It is the person who is committing the offense that should bear the consequences of, cheating. You can't cheat on a woman because you live in Nigeria and be like, if she cannot cope with it, she should get out. You can't. It is because we live in Nigeria is such a country where men are automatically assumed to be the owners of their houses, whether they bought it themselves or they built it with their wives. I don't even want to go into the non-monetary contributions of women, even in situations where the man is the only person providing the money. I don't want to go into the non-monetary contributions of women that make them by right in a country with sensible laws. By right, no one should be able to kick you out, cheat on you and kick you out of your matrimonial home. No one should have that right. If Nigeria had functional laws that are not discriminatory, it shouldn't be happening. And it should not be happening in 2023. So for women, for Nigerian women, African women abroad, if you live abroad, you don't have to bother about Nigerian men. Now it depends on the abroad. Of course, I'm giving case study. I'm using these 4 countries as a case study: U.S., Canada, U.K., Australia. Even in some of that, Sweden, Netherlands. These are other countries that have gender. Their laws are fair to both genders. Almost gender equal laws. If you live in any of those countries, you don't necessarily need to have your own money to cheat back. You don't necessarily. Now, I'm an advocate of having your own money, no matter where you live. But if you live in any of these forward-seeing countries, modern countries with fair gender roles, you don't necessarily need to have your own money. or be earning equal amounts to cheat back. No, you don't. Because he can't kick you out like they do in Nigeria. They will cheat on their wives and kick their wives out. No, he can't do that. Now, but what you would do is, because there are some, when you decide to cheat back, it could result in different scenarios. I always advise that before you cheat back as a woman, make sure you get evidence that the man cheated first. Because if you are abroad and you cheat back and the husband, gets evidence, he can, if he decides to divorce, if you decide to put divorce, he can actually claim that you were the cheat. And if you do not have the evidence to prove to the judge that he cheated first, you're going to tilt the whole case in his favor, including custody of your children. But if it gets to divorce court and he said, oh, my wife cheated, you cannot just bring your evidence to the judge. You say, yes, I cheated, but he cheated first. You neutralize that. So even though you are abroad, make sure you have evidence that he cheated first before you openly cheat back. Because if you want to cheat back, there's no point hiding it, because you're trying to retaliate and get back at him, right? So what's the point cheating back and hiding it? Before you cheat back and flaunt it at his face, even maybe bring the boyfriend home every once in a while. Before you do that, make sure you have evidence that he cheated first. Make sure the children are well protected, especially if they are still underage. Make sure they are well protected. Okay? Then you can go ahead and cheat back. Now, if you decide to cheat back, for women outside the country, if you decide to cheat back, it's either he finds and flaunt it to his face. It's either both of you sit down and decide, no, we are not going to do this. We are not going to do this. We are not going to keep messing around. We need to forgive ourselves and get back to being faithful with each other and continue with this marriage. That is one scenario, possible scenario. Another possible scenario is, you can declare the marriage open. Both of you would agree that, well, you're going to declare the marriage open. You can set your rules for open marriage. You can set your rules. Now, Nigerian men don't like open marriage. You know why? They don't want it to be open in your own side. They want it to be open only on their own side. Those men are the most selfish creatures I have ever seen in my life. What? Like, they don't like the idea of open marriage because they don't want it to be open on both sides. They want it to be closed on your side. Like, remain faithful to them, but they can go and do whatever they like and distribute their sperms and bring back different baby mamas here and there, different parts of the country or the world. That's what they want. So, but whether that's what they want or not, I don't care. You discuss. It's either you people come back to your senses and decide to get on with monogamy, which is one scenario, or you decide to make the marriage open, which is another scenario, or you decide to get divorce, which is another scenario. Now, before you cheat back as a woman, you need to get your mind ready for these three possibilities. You need to get your mind ready for these three possibilities. One moment, please. So before you decide to cheat back, you need to get your mind ready that it could lead to divorce, it could lead to an open marriage, and it could lead to you both coming back to, just become faithful to each other again. Those are the possibilities. So you need to understand the possibilities. That means you're making an informed decision, right? make sure it is very, very, very important that you understand these possibilities. It is important that you understand these possibilities so that you're not going to shoot yourself on the foot. These are the possibilities, and you need to tell yourself before you go around and cheat back, or you need to accept either any of the possibilities. Okay, so once you've accepted any of the possibilities, you can go ahead and do your thing, and you don't need to hide it, because if you hide it, it's not hitting the nerves you want it to hit. It's not getting the right effect. You need to get him to know. If you want to post some social media posts, if you don't, you can send him pictures on WhatsApp, or just let him catch you in the house. He has to know, because that is the whole point. Okay, he has to know. So, but if you live in Nigeria, this is the whole thing. You see, there's a reason I have always prayed that I don't want to raise my children there. The laws there do not fit me. They don't fit me. Like, if I were living in Nigeria, I don't think I'll get married. Honestly, I don't think I'll get married. I'm just gonna have 2 children, because the marriage laws in that country, they are irritating, they are disgusting, they are sexist. I can't stand it. If I were living in Nigeria, I don't think I would have gotten married. I don't think so. I highly doubt it. Yeah, I would have just had 2 children with one fine man, and just leave it at that. So, like I was saying, if you are living in Nigeria, you have to take extra precautions. Precautions like you need to be earning your own money. You need to have your own money. It is important you have your own money. So if you live in Nigeria, it's very important you have your own money, and because if worse comes to worse, if it comes back to bite you, and the man decides, okay, we're going to have a divorce, or decides to kick you out, you need to have your backup options. Remember, the laws in Nigeria do not favor women. If you go to any lawyer, they're going to tell you, oh, why will a woman cheat this? Why will a woman cheat this? The idiots are not going to even say this man did it first, because they have selective amnesia. They are fools. They are idiots. They are morons. If you take it to any court, an average Nigerian court will totally forget that the man actually did it first. They will focus on you. And that's why that country annoys me. I don't know how you women cope there, but the Lord is your strength. I'm going to try to advise you. So, if you believe in cheating back and you live in Nigeria, as a woman, it is very important you have your own money. If you have your own money, you can go ahead and do whatever you like. But if you don't have your own money, you have 2 options. You either calm down and save up for some time. Get some empower yourself financially. Or you can decide, okay, you can do it discreetly. Just the law in that one, the rule in that one is one rule is very important. Don't get caught. Because the truth is, you cannot cheat on a man who is paying your bills in a country like Nigeria that doesn't protect women and get caught. A lot of men will forgive you. A lot of men will forgive you. Forget about what Nigerian men will claim. A lot of them will actually forgive you. However, some of them are actually going to kick you out. Some of them are going to try to make your life miserable. And that is the reason you need to have backup options. So give me a moment, please. So that's the reason you need to have a backup option. It is actually a very dicey situation in Nigeria, except you're from a strong family with strong family support and you have your own money. Do not flaunt it in his face, because you need to empower yourself. And that is why, in a country like Nigeria, where the laws do not protect women, I don't understand how you people, some women, I don't understand how you have the mind to get married without your own money. I don't know how you people get mind. A country that has close to zero protection for women, you get mind enter marriage without money, like without your own income, like you depend entirely on the man and you are totally at his mercy. In a country like Nigeria, you are walking on eggshells, so you're just walking on eggs. It is a really dangerous situation. We have a phrase that is too overly abused and flogged, which is marry a kind man. But then, why will your happiness, why will why will you put your happiness, your entire existence be dependent on the kindness and benevolence of a man who, if we go back to history, they are usually not kind. They are kind, most of them are kind to you for as long as you are subservient, for as long as they can control you, for as long as they can get away with shit with you. That's for how long their kindness is going to last. And you have the mind to get into marriage with such a person without a backup option. You just get married, no money of your own. That's why I read this, what you see, some women, they'll tell you they are hungry because their husband has not dropped money for them and their children to feed. I don't know how you people do this. Like, it is a huge risk to get married in Nigeria without your own money. As a woman, it is a huge risk, because it's just risky. We know most times it doesn't end well, except you're going to live your life, your marital life, like our four mothers did, being completely subservient, and they'll continue to worship their husbands no matter the nonsense their husband do. They are just going to be subservient to him, because if they are not, there's going to be great consequences. So what you're going to ask yourself is to cover up for those possible consequences and protect yourself. The laws do not protect you. Like, how much are we going? This is supposed to be common sense. This is supposed to be basic. And so it continues to surprise me. People argue that having your own money does not really protect you from abuse. I get it. It gives you options. A woman who doesn't have, who has not released herself from that mental bondage, the African culture, tradition, and society. No matter how much money you have, you can't do anything. But at the end of the day, when you have your own money and you are enlightened about your rights, it gives you options. And no matter how much sometimes you like to downplay money because you can have your own money and still be abused, money is very important. A lot of women who know what to do. I've seen a lot of women come to my inbox. They'll tell me, Kechi, I know what to do. NK, we know what to do. We know we are supposed to leave. We know we are supposed, but then if I leave, this man will stop paying my children's school fees. These women have to stay there because they cannot afford to pay their children's school fees. Remember, in Nigeria, They do not enforce child support. A man can decide because the wife left, he's not. We see this too often. And so, while having your own money is not 100% protection, it gives you options. I have a friend here on Facebook. A lot of people confide in me. They come to my inbox to tell me a lot of things. So I have a lot of stories. I have a lot of examples. Some years ago, I think 2018, a lady, a Facebook friend, she came to me. She has 3 children. She said, "This is what is wrong with my marriage. I am not cut out for it. I just want someone to speak to. I know what to do." The following week, she told me she already rented a 3 bedroom house. She took her 3 children and she moved to the 2 bedroom house. Sorry. And recently she built her own house and she also remarried. She left her previous marriage in 2018 and she remarried earlier this year. But when she was leaving, she is a very successful career woman. So it was easy for her to say, "I have had enough." She went to rent a decent 2 bedroom, and that was it. She started living her life afresh. Now, a woman who does not have her money, no matter the enlightened mindset, is going to suffer. It's either you leave your children with a man, which is not so easy. Yes, it's easy. They'll tell you if you cannot take care of the children, you leave it to the man. It's not easy. Well, it's not easy for me. I don't think I want to leave my child or my children at any point. It's either you leave them or you go with them and risk suffering, because a lot of these men are cruel. A lot of Nigerian men do not understand the idea of co-parenting. They don't understand that you can divorce your wife, but you remain a parent, a father to your children. They don't understand it, and I don't know why they don't understand it. And that's why I don't really care about, give a fuck about the cultural traditions and religion. If your culture and tradition and your religion does not reinforce to you over and over again that your responsibility, your parental responsibility to your children is not dependent on the cordial or any form of relationship you have with your mother, then that culture, tradition, and religion doesn't have sense. It should be discarded. It should be discarded. You are responsible for your children. Whether you're with the father or mother of your children or not, you are responsible for your children. But Nigerian men cannot process that. And that is why we see a lot of women in Nigeria, when they leave their marriages, they single-handedly begin to raise the children. Now, divorce is not supposed to automatically lead to loan of single parenting. I have seen in this part of the world where I live in, I have seen a lot of couples, they are divorced, but they have a very good plan on how they take care of their children. The man might be the one to drop the children in school Monday to Wednesdays, and the woman might be the one to pick them up from school, take them home. The man will come and pick them this weekend. They have a standard arrangement of taking care of their children. But in this part of the world, they don't understand it. It flies over their heads. The so-called head of homes do not understand, like the way it is so easy for Nigerian men to abandon their families, even their flesh and blood. Okay, some of them say their wives are not their families. Even their flesh and blood. Your children are supposed to be the people who you owe the whole the most protection in your life if you choose to have children. The way it is so easy for a lot of these men to abandon their families or abandon their children simply because they divorce their wives, it shocks me continuously. You don't like your wife, no problem. You are divorced, no problem. But the children you have in that marriage, you remain their father, and you are supposed to continue taking care of them. You remain their father, and you are supposed to continue taking care of them. Why does the idea of co-parenting fly so fast over your head? This is so basic. Some of them will say, "I don't want to give money to my wife." You don't have to give her money. I have a friend, who has 2 children, with a woman. One child, sorry, with a woman. The woman remarried and had two more children. The woman is still married to the man, remarried. But this man had the first child with this woman, and the child lives with the mother, while my friend lives abroad. This man has been paid. This child has attended one of the most expensive schools in Lagos. My friend is a guy. He would pay the tuition directly to the school. Every beginning of the term, he will send money to a tailor in Lagos and tell the child's mother to take the child. The child will take measurement. He will buy all school supplies. He wasn't giving money to the mother of his son, but he was providing 90 or 80% of what the child needed. Whenever this child was sick, or he needed medical care, my friend would pay for it. My friend is one of the few Nigerian men who perfectly understood that I am no more with the mother of my children or my child, but I am responsible for this boy. After the boy finished secondary school, I think a year or 2 years ago, he went to the UK to join the father. And that's it. He grew up with his mom till he finished secondary school till he was, I think, 16, 17. And he went to the UK to join his father. The dad had been in the UK since he was young. But my friend used to come to Nigeria every year, at least once a year, to spend time with his son. And they had a good arrangement. Whenever he was coming to Nigeria, the mother of the child would pack the box and make sure my friend made sure he came only during school holidays, around August, when students were going to be on holidays. He used to come to Nigeria August just to make sure the child was on holidays, and he will spend the whole of the month August with the child. And the mother will make sure she got the son ready to spend time with the father. It was a perfect arrangement. There was never an issue. I don't think my friend ever gave cash to the woman, but he made sure he provided, because a lot of guys are worried about giving cash to the one. You don't have to give cash to your ex-wife. That's not an excuse. You can go to the school where your children are attending and pay their school fees. You can buy them uniforms, you can buy them clothes. You can do all these things and provide 70-80% of their needs without actually handling cash to anyone. So it is not an excuse. Like this, I'm a little bit deviating from the whole topic of today, but this is a topic I'm passionate about, because I cringe at how easy it is for men to abandon their families. A lot of Nigerian men do that. And especially for them to abandon their children. Even though you don't like your wife, abandoning your children, that's a higher level of irresponsibility. So, as a Nigerian woman, for you to cheat back and flaunt it in his face, you need to have your money. Because as weird as it sounds, as much as I disagree with it, they can kick you out. They can kick you out, except that house is in your name. They can kick you out. So you need to have the backup option. If the house is in your name, like Funke Akindele, you do the kicking out. Yeah, like a boss. You do the kicking out. But if it's not your name, you need to prepare. And that is the reason why, to start with, you need to mind who you get married to. To start with, you need to make sure you do not go into marriage without a steady source of income of your own that at least will be will be enough for you to survive on your own, just in case something goes wrong. So for you, if you're in Nigeria, it's either you wait and save up your money, or make sure you have your own money before you cheat back. It is very important you do that. Alternatively, you must have a strong family support. If you don't have the money, you are in Nigeria, you have a strong family support. Like if I have a sister, if I have a younger sister that wants to cheat back and maybe lives in Nigeria, she cheats back and the husband throw her out, I'll personally pay for her to go, and if I have enough money, I could even build her a small flat. Yeah, so if you have such strong family support, then you can go ahead and do that. But I'm an advocate of cheat back. If you have the opportunity to cheat back, I support it 100%. And while you are cheating back, make sure you're taking all necessary precautions, for STIs and STDs. When whenever I make a post about STD, I also have some morons coming into my post saying you will have STD. Whenever I make a post about cheat back, sorry, I also have some men coming into my post, yeah, you will contact STD. They say it like so. STD is reserved for only women. Men that are cheating, they can't have STDs. It is only when women want to cheat back. That is when STD will be like, oh, you are a woman. So yeah, I'm going to enter into it. You see, those men, they don't have like these guys talk as if their brains are misplaced. They dumped it somewhere. You know how you dump your used underwear? It's like some of them dump their brains. Like they don't think. The whole or maybe the whole patriarchy just coats and make their brains so rusty. They can apply their brains in other aspects, but once it comes to things that has to do, things that have to do with women, no, they don't. They don't think, because STI, a cheating man stands the same risk of STI with a cheating woman, or a woman who is cheating back. So you are not immune to STD just because you are a man. You are not immune. You stand the same risk. So back to my ladies, sisters, if you want to cheat back, take all necessary precautions. Okay? Use protection. And if you want to go raw, make sure you carry out conduct some checks, full STD check. HIV, hepatitis, chlamydia, gonorrhea, syphilis, all of them. Just make sure you conduct the full test. Okay? I would say advise you use protection. Well, if you want to go raw, or maybe you want to get pregnant, yeah. If you want to cheat back and get pregnant or fall in love, that is okay. I mean, some celebrities are going around distributing sperms and pregnancy everywhere in the world. So yeah, if you want to cheat back, that is the danger. Is of cheating back. Me personally, if I want to cheat back, I will not get pregnant. I believe a woman decides when to get pregnant. If I don't want to get pregnant, no matter what you shoot, it's not going to enter, because it's my body. It's not going to enter. This is 2023. We have a lot of resources. Like, if I don't want to get pregnant, it's not going to enter. No, if you like pour in a drum of sperm, it's going to get out the way it enters. It will enter. So but if you want to get pregnant, it's up to you. That's your decision. I would advise against that, except you really want to be with that person and you really think that person will make a good father for your children, and you decide if it's an informed decision, you know what you're doing, then you can go ahead and do that if that's what you want. I'm not going to advise you against that. Morality, no, these men are not moral. They don't have any morality. I mean, if they were not cheating and claiming it to be their right, I will not be doing these videos to start with. So like I was saying, what's the next point? I prepared a course outline, so let me look for the next point. I think I've almost exhausted all the points. Yes, for women outside Nigeria in countries, I'm going to rephrase again. For women outside Nigeria, sorry, in countries where they have fair gender laws, whether you have your money or not, it doesn't matter. Nobody will kick you out. Just make sure you get evidence that he cheated on you first. Okay? Make sure it's important, because these men, why I'm emphasizing this? I have seen a man who cheated. The woman filed for divorce, and the man went to court to say it's the wife that cheated. If not because this woman had evidence to prove it's the man that cheated, it would have tilted the case in these men are so cunning. And so you need to make sure they do not outsmart you. You need to make sure they do not outsmart you. Cheat back all you want if you're outside the country I'm not saying if you're outside the country in Afghanistan or they will stone you to death. That's why I am saying countries. I am emphasizing countries with fair gender laws. If you are in a country with fair gender law, you will know. I don't need to define it for you. I'm not talking about Saudi Arabia. Okay? So if you're in a country with fair gender law, cheat on and you're cheating back. When the case gets, it's either both of you declare the marriage open, or you decide to come back to a closed monogamous marriage, or you divorce. Prepare your mind for any of those options. And if you're in Nigeria, have your own money. If you do not have your own money, try and save up and make sure you have a strong family backup, a strong support system with your friends, with your family especially. Make sure you have a strong support system, because you're going to war. You are going to war. Give me a moment, please. So because you're going to war and you need to prepare for the war, you need to prepare for the possibilities, you even need to prepare for casualties. So if you have any question, if you have questions about what I have said, I don't want questions like why can't they walk away. Instead, the men that are cheating, why can't they walk away? The men that are cheating, why can't they walk away? It is only when women want to retaliate you people bring your sanctimonious sermons. Now only for women body una they know how to preach on a sermons. Why can't the men walk away instead of cheating? No. And for another one again, there is another batch of people that will tell you, oh, I don't want to lose my dignity. My dignity is not in my vagina. Maybe yours is in your vagina. Mine is not in my vagina. And why is it only women that tend to lose their dignity? Men that are cheating, they don't. A lot of you are fans of, some celebrities. I don't want to mention their names, so you are still fans of these celebrities that go around distributing sperm. Zero self-control. It's like they are addicted. It's like their brains are being controlled by their dicks. You are still fans. Those ones do not lose their dignity. It's only when a woman wants to retaliate, that's when you bring all those your stupid sermons. So don't come and ask me why can't they walk away, and why can't they preserve their dignity. I don't want all those questions. The questions you can ask me on the comment section. I know some of you don't want your family and your in-laws to know you're watching it. I understand, especially some women. I understand. It's not, trust me, I understand. Not every woman will have the boldness to come and do what I'm doing. I know how much attacks I get online. I know how long it took me to develop a thick skin, but a few years ago I got to the level of not giving any fucks. My mantra now is say what I want to do. I try as much as possible not to hurt people in the process. But I don't care if my opinion is going to give you sleepless night, or you think feminism is whatever. That's not my problem. I don't care about those ones. So I have built a thick skin to a certain level, but I know not everyone. I also acknowledge, besides building a thick skin, I also acknowledge some little privileges that I have that some of you do not have. I acknowledge that. So I understand some of you cannot openly use your real names on your Facebook and ask questions or the comments. I'm not really an inbox person, except it's business, but I'm going to make an exception for this. If you do not want your family to know, you can send me a message inbox, and let's say you don't want to ask the question in the comment section, send a message to me inbox. Go straight to the point. Don't say hi, I'm not going to reply. I can assure you that. Go straight to the point. And if you even want to make yourself more anonymous, open another Facebook account and send me the message or comment on the comment section, and we can answer you. Nobody will know in that case. Yeah. So when the hunter, how did they say that thing? When the hunter learns to shoot without missing, the bird learns to fly without perching. So yeah, I'm all here for the women. I said this is going to be Saturday, Sundays. I think I've exhausted most of what I want to say today. Actually, I don't know why I said Saturday, Sundays for the rest of July. I've exhausted most of what I want to say. So even though I'm going to come live again tomorrow or any other Saturday and Sunday, I'm probably going to play around, probably going to answer questions, probably going to get them angry. It gives me great joy when I make all these posts and they start subbing me, alpha males start getting angry. I mean, that is the aim. That is the whole aim. That is the whole thing. So yeah. Maybe I'm going to come online just to give them something to cry about, but I've exhausted most of the things I want to say. Yeah, I'm going to answer your questions in the comment section and in my inbox. Don't forget to, if you are like this with your husband and your in-laws and your family, use and just open a split Facebook account and send it to me. Don't use your name, just formulate one name like that and send it to me. I'm going to answer the message. Yeah, I'm going to respond to the message. I'll answer your question. You can inbox me, you can write it on the comment section. Feel free. See, this course is I'm very devoted to this course. For me to ask you to send me, bombard me with messages, me that I hate messages, I'm very devoted to it. I'm going to answer your questions. I'm going to give you what I think to my best of ability, and everything I'm saying is what I would do if I were in your position. Yeah, everything I'm going to tell you is what I would do if I were in your position. So it's been so fun doing this Facebook live. I am glad I was able to come live. I'm glad I was able to annoy a whole lot of people. I mean, oh God, I feel emotional. I feel emotional. And do you know what I did? Now I'm messing around. Do you know what I did? I said I was going to come live at 2. At about 1:30, I took my baby to bed. My husband was tired. I just told him, babe, you need to go and sleep. I took go to them, like to bed, so that I can have this whole atmosphere to myself. You see, I'm a very smart girl. I know I'm a very smart girl. So, I am so glad I did this. Like, I am so happy. You have no idea how happy I am. So send me those questions in the comment sections and in my inbox. And I love you women. I'm not talking about the pick-me's. I can't stand the pick-me's. Like, I hate you. I hate you. Pick-me's, I hate you. Patriarchal princesses. So when I say I love you women, I'm not talking about pick-me's and patriarchal. Like, I can't stand them. Like, pick-me's and alpha males. I don't know the one. I think I will pick an alpha male over a pick-me. I cannot stand pick-me's. I can't stand them at all. So, anyway, I love you women. I don't like you pick-me's and patriarchal princesses. But for the ladies, I love you. And whether you're going to decide to cheat back or whether you're going to decide to not cheat back and walk away, I want you to do what you think is best for you. And for me, what is best for me, I get joy in, paying people back in their own coin. It gives me joy. Yeah? So if walking away is what will give you joy at the long term, by all means. But this whole session is for people who think they would rather cheat back. Yeah? And yeah, thank you so much everyone for joining me. Thank you. It's the end of this session. I'm streaming on both my Facebook profile and my page, so I need to end it now. Bye bye.